Hello students, this is Veena, Assistant Professor in the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. Today, we will try to talk about the generating talks based on visual or written prompts. That is, how is that we are going to make talks or create our talks on visual and written prompts. That is the way the utilization of the visual and the written prompts, written aids in the way of communicating our talks and giving the presentations. This topic is covered under your module 2 of speaking skills, and it is very essential for you all to understand how is that you are going to use your visual and the written aids in terms of generating your talks, especially when you are making the presentations. Being professionals, being very good directors or the chairmen of an organization, you have to learn to present your presentations with proper visual and the written prompts. For that reason, what are the important characteristics? What are the important elements which you all have to follow, practice and remember while delivering your speech will be understood today through this topic. Now let us get started. Almost all preparations can be enhanced by effective use of visual aids, isn't it? Like traditional method, now we are not following a lecture method. Without a PPT, without a visual aid or an audio aid, the presentation is not possible. So, therefore, to make your presentation very effective, communicative and understanding, to develop the quality of your presentation, we are using these visual aids and the written prompts such that the audience who come to listen to us will have a hint and the tinge of those visual aids to create the interest into your talk. So, in what way these visual aids are used? How is that they are going to serve the purpose of our need? We will try to understand today. Now, what can be your visual prompts? What can be your aids? Let us try to understand them. First, handouts. That is, you provide handouts of your presentation to the audience while the presentation begins. Because if they miss a point, if they miss a session, they will have an idea about what you have spoken or about what you are going to speak about. So, handouts will be provided. That is also one kind of written prompt in the way of your presentation. Then comes overhead transparencies. We use our projectors. We use the transparent sheets to provide the information while presenting the information orally as well as through the visual aid which is following behind you in the projector. That will make them jot down the points, that will make them understand the essence of the information which is provided to them in a very effective and a clarified manner. Next, drawing on the whiteboard. We all have the habit, especially teachers. We have the habit of writing on the whiteboards, scribbling, showing some example, writing the important points, important vocabulary. When it comes to language, we write the word which is very hard to pronounce or which has the essential meaning or which it is related to the key point, isn't it? So, we use the whiteboard also as an aid in the way of our presentation. Then comes PowerPoint slides. These days, it is very common and it is very essential to use the PowerPoint slides while you are making a presentation. That gives a vivid picture, that gives a brief picture of your presentation and many other types of props. Now, these are all come under the aids. Why? Why is that they are so essential? Before also, when we were in the school days, the teacher used to give the lecture, isn't it? They never used any PPT, they never have given any handout or any showed any video. What is the need to make the use of these visual aids or the written prompts or the audio clips in between your presentation? The need, the essence is to create the interest in the audience. As everyone is busy, many of them don't have time. They are making to sort out the way whether the information which I'm going to attend, the speech, the presentation which I'm going to attend, have the purpose, will fulfill the purpose of my need or not. In the way of inquiry, in the process of inquiry, through these handouts, through the way of your PPTs, they can come to the conclusion that yes, they serve my need. It is relevant. So let me attend, isn't it? So to create that impression, to bring those audience interest, we are using the visual and the audio prompts or the written prompts while we are performing the presentation. Then, your visual aids are an important non-verbal aspect of your speech, isn't it? It is non-verbal. It is not just your body gesture. It is the gesture of the audio clip. It is the reference of the video clip. It is the reference of the PPT, which they will have the understanding of your content. It will serve as the non-verbal communication aspect to use the visual or the written or the audio clips or the video clips in between your presentations. Once you have chosen a topic, you need to consider how you are going to show your audience what are you going to talk about. Now you have already picked the topic. Now you have to make your planning in such a way that how is that you are going to show your presentation to your audience. Oral communication is not just possible to make or to render all the complete information which is needed. So we have to make ourselves equipped with those aids in our presentation such that it looks effective, proper and significant. Next, visual aids accomplish several goals, isn't it? Yes, do we agree or not? Yes, we do agree. They serve several needs. That which cannot be spoke and told can be conveyed through the diagrams or the pictures, isn't it? They have that communication power. So, let us try to utilize this essentiality of the visual and the written prompts. Though, make your speech more interesting. What do? They make your speech more interesting. Visualization beside your speech will make them try to grasp their attention and create that interest in them. Enhance your credibility as a speaker. It shows your maturity of explanation. If you are using your PPTs, your video prompts, visual prompts, they portray your maturity and your credibility as a speaker. Then, serves as guides to transitions, helping the audience stay on track. If they are missing track somewhere or the other, they can attach themselves to that track through the visual aid which is moving in the projector behind you, beside you whenever you are giving a presentation. Then, communicate complex or intrigue information in a short period of time. These visual aids help you to communicate them the proper information within a short time, isn't it? Here there is a visual aid in this slide. What is that? Here there is a presentation happening. Am I giving you any kind of information or description about this particular slide? No, but still you are able to understand that here I have placed this picture to show the essence of the visual prompts in while you are making the serves. This picture portrays that, isn't it? Reinforce your verbal message. It will give force to your verbal messages. Help the audience use and retain the information. This is the most important aspect. The audience can use it, reuse it. They can again look back and get back into the information for reference, what was spoken to them by the speaker. So PPTs, your aids, your written prompts, your handouts will help them to revert back, review your speech, isn't it? Next, what is the purpose? Purpose, emphasis, support and clarity. The purpose of each visual aid should be clear. That is, when you are posing a visual, it should be clear. It should have the intention to provide clear information about the information what you are going to provide and almost speak for itself. When you are posing a picture, it should directly express the meaning from that picture. For example, traffic symbols. Will there be any verbal words written or explanation written down to the traffic symbols? No. Only through the symbol we understand the gesture towards the indication. That is the power of the visual aids. If you can quickly grasp the purpose of visual aid in a speech, you have to honestly consider whether it should be used in the first place. First think, do we have to use it? How important is it to use? How relevant is it to use in between our speeches? Will it be distractive or will it be useful to create a positive environment? Think about all these things too. Visual aids can significantly develop the message of a speech. Whatever you are delivering in your speech, that will develop, that will enhance the message of that speech. But they must be used for specific purpose. They must be equipped with a purpose, equipped with the clarity when we are using any kind of the visual aid. Next, perhaps you want to highlight trend between two related issues such as socio-economic status and educational attainment. Okay, how is that you are going to represent? A line graph might show effectively how a social economic status arises and educational attainment also arises. So, if you want to show or talk about the difference between the social economic status and the educational attainments, you can show it in the way of a graph. How the increase of this social economic status is increasing and in the way of the increasing of the educational attainments. So, this is a simple example which I have taken to help you. Not only this, anything, any comparative study, anything which has to be explained can be used these visual aids to represent the perfection over the speech, over the message which is going to be delivered. Then, the use of visual aid can provide emphasis, effectively highlighting keywords, ideas, relationships for the audience. Now, how is that you are going to design these visual aids? You have to design these visual aids which has to replicate the keywords, your ideas or the relationship which you are going to present in front of your audience. They should reflect your idea, they should reflect your perspectives and they should provide the information which is apt, authentic and relevant to that particular concept of whatever you are talking. Next, visual aids can also provide necessary support for position. How? At what time? At what situation? Time, place, all those can be informed and measured in terms of the visual aids. They can be portrayed in such a way that they look appealing and also enhanced. Audience members may question for your ascension of the relationship between social economic status and educational. For example, again we are taking the same thing. They may question there. What is the relationship? How is that you are going to provide evidence? Then your visual aid must provide the clarity to them. You can put up the graph as the evidence to them and show them the clarity between the increase of the social economic status and the educational attainment status. So it should be an example. It should be an evidence. Your visual aid should be an evidence to the audience questions, audience guessings, assumptions, isn't it? Then one way to improve clarity is to limit the number of words on the PowerPoint slide. If you want to give clear clarity, good clarity over the conversation, you should use only limited words in the PowerPoint. You cannot go on write paragraphs and paragraphs on the PowerPoint slide such that they don't have time to read so much. If you have given a bullet point, then it is easy to capture the attention of that visual aid. Next, key images that have a clear relationship to the verbal message. See that you choose those key images which have relationship to the speech, what you are talking. Then you may also choose to illustrate the same idea successfully in two distinctive formats. Perhaps a line graph followed by two pie graphs. Your central goal is to ensure. So you can use any graph. You can use pie chart. You can use line graph. Anything. But see that it is matching the content of your speech. It should be suitable. It should give the clarity of information of your speech. Isn't it? Here you see my speech classroom. Here the boy is representing how his classroom is. So here the figure indicates the gesture of what the speaker intended to say. Next, what are the common visual aids which we tend to use while we do our PowerPoint presentations, which can be helpful to us in making our presentations? Whiteboards and interactive boards, flip charts, overhead projectors, slides, videos, PowerPoint or other presentation software, and handouts. Now let us try to understand them in more detail. Visual aids can enhance your presentations, isn't it? They'll make you look more effective, more beautiful, and more authentic with good quality of information. They can increase the audience understanding over the topic, explain points, make an impact, and create enthusiasm. See these four words. They can make you understand your topic, explain the points, have an impact, and create that enthusiasm in the audience while you are giving the presentation. Visual aids are items of visual manner. The way you see, it is said that the more you speak, than that, the more your eyes speak. How you are going to capture the visual aid will remain in your brain rather than what you speak. What we see, we remember more than what we speak, isn't it? So you should have that clarity over the visual aids in your PPTs while using. See that they are relevant and matching up to the topics whichever you are going to present. Don't just abruptly select some image and put forward in the PPT which is not relevant. It will distract in turn. It will disturb and maintain the misunderstanding between the speaker and the audience. So we must be very, very careful enough while choosing the visual aids when we are giving our presentation. Basic purpose of visual aids could be to summarize information, give clarity and show examples, create more of an impact. So these are the three important purposes the visual aids serve. What are those? Summarize information, They summarize your information, what you are speaking. They clarify and show examples of what it is said. And also they create an impact on the audience in the way of speech. Then, reduce amount of spoken words. Visual aids will also help you to reduce the spoken words. Instead of tiring yourself going on speaking, you can use the visual aids and just drop down some words such that the explanation is clear to that visual art. For example, you may show a graph, your results, rather than reading them out. Instead of reading out the results, you can just show the graph and ask them to look for it for 1 minute or 2 minutes, isn't it? Give them time to understand it. That is the very, very easy thing. Then, emphasize what you are saying, trying to explain what you are saying. Make a point memorable. The visual aid make the notice of the point look memorable in your brain. Enhance your credibility. It will enhance your credibility, your quality of your presentation. Then, engage the audience and maintain their interest. Make something easier for the audience to understand. So, these are all the key points which can be attained through the visual aids. Now, how to prepare and use your visual aids? What are the steps to prepare and use your visual aids in the way of your presentation? First step is preparation. How is that you are going to prepare your visual aids? That is, think about how can a visual aid can support your message. First, have a clarity over what kind of visual aid will serve the purpose of your speech. Have clarity over it. Then, what do you want the audience to do? What do you want the audience to understand from your visual aid? Create a visual aid which will completely replicate your message to the audience. So, you have to plan over it. So, preparation is must to create a visual aid before the PPT. Then, ensure that your visual aid follows that you are saying, or this will confuse the audience. This is very, very important point. See that there is the right coordination between the visual aid and your talk. It should not be mismatched. If you are talking something and your visual aid is showing something, then it will create a confusion among the audience. So, see that, design that, and coordinate your visual aids according to your speech. Then, avoid cluttering the image as it may look messy and unclear. See that you don't use a blur image or it is shaky image. That will just make the interruption, create that misconception among the audience. Then, visual aids must be clear, concise, and of high quality. You must maintain high quality visual aids to serve the purpose of the needs of your speech. Then, keep the style consistent. See that your style is consistent, such as same font, colors, and positions. This is also a very important aspect. Try to maintain the consistency over all the slides. Select one type of font. Select some colors which are same over all the side. See that this consistency is maintained. Don't put up one slide with one format, the other slide with the other format or other font style. It looks so messy and it looks so unorganized. So, see that all your slides are made with the same font, same style and same size, font style, size. So, all these things must be remembered and they are very, very important. Then, use graphs and charts to present data. Whenever you present data, use graphs and charts. That is the very, very good example to use your visual aids to represent data. The audience should not be trying to read and listen at the same time. Use visual aids to highlight your points. So, to highlight your points, give bullet points of your speech. You will not write complete speech on the slides. You will just give the subheadings of your speech such that they have that connection of what you are talking or rendering or providing the information. One message per visual aid. See that one visual aid has one message. Don't mess up with 2 or 3 points such that it is confused. For example, on a slide, there should be only one key point. One key point for one slide. Stick to this. This will surely make a good impact over your listeners. One visual aid in moderation. They are addition meant emphasize and support main points. So, for one slide, you will take one key point and you will explain, emphasize that key point in 2 or the 3 terms. In that way, you can emphasize a slide. One key point for one slide and emphasizing key points about that particular key point. That is very, very important. Then, ensure that your presentation still works without your visual aids in case of technical problem. Very, very important. Don't completely depend on your visual aids. Your visual aids are extra additional information which will grasp the attention of the audience. See that your speech can stand by its own. This is adding an additional attainment to your speech. If there is a technical problem and if you are unable to put up that PPT, you should not be nervous and you should not be stressful because your speech can serve the need. So, prepare well orally too, such that visual aid and your coordination with that visual aid will be successful. In case of any technical problem, if you cannot showcase your visual aids, it is okay because you are already prepared and you are aware of what you are talking. So, keep this in mind. Don't depend on the PPT completely for the main points for your speech. Now, that is the preparation before the speech. What we are going to do? We have to select the visual aids. We have to coordinate the aids with your points. Stick to the slide with one key point and see that it gives clarity and maintains good quality of visuals which are going to represent. So, this is all the preparation we made before the presentation. Now, what are the things which you all have to remember during the presentation? While the presentation is going on, what is the preparation which you have to do? Ensure that the visual aids can be seen by everyone in the audience. See that you put up your visual aids such that everyone in the audience can see that. Okay? So look for a position from where everyone can see your slides. Face the audience most of the time rather than the image. If the visual aid is behind you, don't try to turn back and see the aids. You have to face towards the audience rather than towards the image. Avoid reading from the visual aid. You should not be reading from the PPTs. You must be explaining and only referring to the PPT. You should not read from the PPT in your presentations. As soon as you show the visual aid, the audience attention will be drawn it to, so you must immediately explain it. See, whenever you pose a visual aid, automatically because of that vision, the audience will all get attracted towards it. So, once they see it, try to explain it then and there. What is that point? If you are not explaining it and if you are talking something else and your visual is portraying something else, then there will be a messy thing. So, try to coordinate with the visual aid which you are projecting, which you are showcasing in front of the others. Make it clear to the audience why you are using it. Explain them why this picture is used here, why you have used that graph there. Try to explain it clearly. When you no longer need the visual aid, ensure that the audience can't see it. If you feel that during that presentation there is no need of that visual aid, you can just skip it off. No need of portraying or showcasing the visuals. It's not compulsory. There. Tailor your audience. What is tailor your audience? You have to train, mold your audience. See that their attention is towards you, and also they understand the relevance of your using visual aids. They should have the interest over your speech rather than more interest over your visual aids. Okay, so that they must only refer the aids from your speech. Okay, that choose your visual aids tactically so you can appeal to your audience. So whatever you are representing, see that you are choosing the tactful message through the visual aid. See that you are not using that which is not relevant. This means finding images your audience can relate to. Images they will find familiar and images they will like. The quality of images must be very good and they must be familiar with those images, and they should not feel that what kind of message is this, what are those. The quality should be good and consistent with all the accuracy. Also think about what style of visual aid is suitable for your presentation. If it is a serious presentation, what kind of formal slides you are going to use. If it is an informal presentation, what kind of slides which you are going to use. So these are all important aspects which you have to keep in your mind while making your presentation with the visual aids. Then what are the types of visual aids? Now we have understood why it is significant, why it is necessary to use the visual aids, okay, and what sort of preparation we have to do while using these visual aids. Now we will look into the types of visual aids which are helpful to you in your presentations. The first one is PowerPoint presentation. Microsoft PowerPoint presentation is very widely used for preparation of your presentations which cater all the needs. It is equipped with all the sources of pictures, clarity, wordings, timing, all the things with good background colors, with different textures, postures, font size, font styles, okay, images which reveal the purpose. Everything can be materialized and every can be sorted through these slides, and your presentation will look more beautiful through the PowerPoint presentation. It has all the elements and characteristics which will surely help you to develop your speech, your presentation more effectively. Most of you all, you know about it and you all use it too. So you all learn the ways where you can use them, in how you can use them. Next, use a large font size, a minimum of 24 pt in your PowerPoints. Let us try to understand what are the necessary things, necessary points which you have to remember while you are doing a PowerPoint presentation. 1. Have a clear and simple background. Don't make a messy background in your presentation. Have a simple background. Avoid using too many different styles of fonts and sizes. Don't use too many fonts. Stick to one font and one size. You only use animations for a purpose. If you really need the animation, use it. If not, don't use them. Otherwise, they can be distractive. They may disturb others. Okay. You use a font size of minimum 24 pt. Use bullet points to summarize your key point. Consider providing handouts of diagrams to the audience such that it will be very, very helpful to them. Avoid putting too much of text on the slides. Avoid using red or green text as it is difficult to read. See that you will use the text color which is appealing to the eyes of the audience. Don't use those light colors such that they don't have that proper visualization to see the slides. Then there should be only one key point for one slide. Always have a backup plan in case of any technical issue and you cannot show the visuals on that day. So prepare to confront the technical issues. Then we talk about the whiteboards. What is the purpose which is served through the whiteboards? That is, ensure that enough time has passed for the audience to take notes before rubbing. That is, if you have written something on the board and if you are making a point that everyone has to note it down, see that you have given ample time to them to take down the notes from the board. Then write concisely to avoid facing away from the audience. Write briefly. Don't write paragraphs and paragraphs during the presentation. They cannot do it. Write brief points with bullets. That is also useful. Then, handwriting must be large and legible. Your handwriting must be understandable and it must be legible to your audience. Then, practice beforehand as you may feel nervous about writing. If you have any problem of writing and you feel nervous, so try better before you try to use it your whiteboard. Then handouts. What is the serve? What is the purpose handouts serve while using in the presentation? That is, they provide the audience with partially completed handouts. That is, minimize, concise description of your speech is provided through the handouts. Okay. So they give you have to listen to what you are saying to be able to fill in the gaps. Don't give the complete speech in the handouts. Leave them some blanks such that audience will look to fill those gaps which have been not mentioned in the handouts. Providing the audience with graphs and charts beforehand is also beneficial because first providing that statistical data through graphs, pie charts will help them create interest in what you are telling, how you are explaining, how you are projecting the information. So these are all very, very helpful in through the things. Then video clips. How will the video clips serve your purpose? Using videos are great way to engage the audience, and it also serves the needs for you to speak less, and they will project all the information in a way of an example. But there are certain elements which you have to remember while using these video clips. Now let us know what are they. Ensure that any videos you used are relevant to the presentation. First and foremost important, whatever video you are using or showing to your audience, it must be relevant to the purpose. Then only show as much of the video is necessary. Don't go on show the video 30 minutes, 1 hour. No, show only until unless it is needed. Don't just put on the video and just disappear from them. No, you have to see that you have to serve the purpose of that particular need with a small time limit of projecting the video towards the audience. Never show a really long clip. No long clips. Short clips are mandatory and they are suggestible. Videos cannot be difficult to fit into the structure of the presentation. So, ensure that you will tell that audience that you are going to show video. Of course, in PPT presentation, we cannot equip the video with. So, we are going to tell the audience that on this point of time, to explain you this kind of information, I am going to project a video to you such that the understanding becomes more better. Like this, you can talk and you can project a video to your audience. Inform the audience how long the video will last. It is your duty to explain them how long the video will last. So that is a criteria to use your video clips. Then flip charts. How the flip charts are going to use. They offer a low cost and low tech solution to record and convey information what you speak. So before your presentation, place a flip charts in a location that you can easily access. Prepare any sheets you can in advance, even if you only write down the headings. Then flip charts can be moved so you can avoid facing away from the audience such that you gain the information, you have the rightful main idea of the text and you are using those flip charts. So this is also a good idea. Check with the audience if they can read the text. Do not use a flip chart if there is large audience. It will look messy and it will look very confusing. So use small black and blue ink. Red ink is good for circling the underlining. So you can use like that, highlighting your flip charts. Then using a pencil, write notes to yourself beforehand so you can remember what to include. Flip back through the sheets to consolidate points. Practice writing on the flip chart advance. So for everything you should have preparation in advance. You should be able to have all awareness of all the aids what you are using. If you do not know, if you do not have that awareness of how to use your aids, then all it is messed up. So try to have good awareness over all the aids which you are using and make the presentations proper, serving the needs of giving the right information to the audience. Then we will talk about the posters. Poster are also one of the kinds of visual aids which will help you in your PPTs. That is, poster boards can be created using a variety of visual devices such as graphs, images, anything. Like for example, one poster. Now what are the elements? What is the criteria for using the posters? One poster, one message and one theme. Use colors. Use block capitals when you are writing the posters. Avoid using posters when presenting to large audience. Posters is not a good idea when you are in front of the large audience. It will serve the need of a very less audience. Now, some of the very important tips, key points which you all have to remember before you use the visual aids in your presentations. First one is practice. Practice with your visual aids. If you want to design some visual aids, if you want to use the visual aids, you have to have good practice before the speech is carried on. Practice with the visual aids. Don't just practice orally and then on the stage if you could not coordinate to these aids, it looks messy and it creates that chaos in the audience. So try to practice with the visual aids such that you will have good coordination with your aids as well as they serve the purpose of your need. Next, visual aids are worth including in your presentations because they can help you in explaining the information more coherently, makes presenting easier for you and learning easier to the audience. They also help add variety to your presentation. They can create that zeal, they can create that enthusiasm among the audience. So all these points are very important in terms of using the visual aids in your presentation. See that you plan properly, you design your visual aids which are suitable for your presentation and try to give effective presentations for the good growth of your professional workspace. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.